I am working in more of a specialized type of physical therapy. I work with a subgroup of people that have something called postural orthostatic tachycardia syndrome. Basically someone who, when they go from laying down to standing, they have a lot of lightheaded, dizziness, things like that. And so what I do to help them is basically go through some endurance training and strength training to get their body more adapted to the upright position so that they're not as dizzy anymore. I basically created this program to modify it to each person. It is based off of research studies of endurance training programs, but I basically take that research and I adapt it to each person. Everyone starts out with similar types of endurance training, and then I modify it to each person's needs. This type of condition falls more along a spectrum, so everyone can experience different symptoms to different severities. And so I kind of, based off of that, I adapt their physical therapy to treat their symptoms and help them as much as I can. It does sound really scary. There's a lot of information out there about it. One, know that you're not alone going through it, but two, that everyone falls in a spectrum of things. There's a lot of research that comes out every single day about this condition. That gives me a lot of hope for the future in general for treatments of this, but that there's other people out there who are willing to help them, because sometimes people feel lost, and a lot of the times I think 80% of people who have this condition, they get written off as having anxiety before they get their actual diagnosis. And so a lot of the time that makes them feel unheard, because they can feel that their body's going through something, and no, it's not necessarily, I'm stressed out. Like, yes, there are stressors in life, but your heart might be racing. That doesn't mean that you're necessarily stressed out. It could just mean you're standing.
The diagnosis for POTS was a very long and painful road. I would say it started in the 6th grade. I started to exhibit symptoms, and I started fainting, and I started getting asthma and allergies. My mom took me to one of the local hospitals. I spent all day getting tested, and they told me I was perfectly normal. So POTS, some of the triggers are a virus, being female, being a migrainer, having a baby, having a C-section, and being exposed to a mold. So I had been in a water-damaged building, and after the C-section of my second child, I did not feel right. And I told my gynecologist, or I told my doctor, I am so tired, and this is not right. And she said, of course you're tired. You have a toddler and an infant. So I was completely dismissed. So it just got worse, and I went to doctor after doctor, and I was told that I bring stress on myself, that it's all in my head, and that I was totally normal. As I got older, I've ended up, after going to I've probably been to hundreds of doctors and medical professionals and physical therapists and chiropractors and energy practitioners, and I ended up at a naturopathic, and she told me what I had, and she was right. She said, I think you have dysautonomia. I think you have POTS. But I thought, I'm gonna go to any expert in the country and see what they say. So I was really excited to find out that there was a POTS physical therapy program right here in my backyard that I could go to. And so, and it's developed by someone who has POTS herself. So every time I come in, she says, what are your symptoms? How are you doing? We compare, like, how did you handle the weather change? I've never had any practitioner have the exact same thing as me. So it's very refreshing to work with somebody who has the rare disorder that I have. I hope that as I continue, I'll be able to one day be able to stand up and withstand waiting in line, or walking at a park with a friend would be nice. I would highly recommend it. Anybody who has been diagnosed with dysautonomia with POTS should definitely make an appointment. There's no place like this around in the area.